Hey traders, Rick here with Hit and Run Candlesticks. Hope you're doing well. Hey, this is Saturday, May 31st, 2025. I've got seven charts I want to take a look at that, well, you might like one of them. They're set up, and I'll talk about the setups a little bit and what I think about them. First, let's talk about the SPY and the market, and then we'll get into those seven, okay? Alrighty, so I've got the SPY up, and that's my market of choice. That's what I like to watch. Qs would be the next, but SPY is what I typically like to watch. So one thing that we have to acknowledge is we come back over here February of 2025 and start a line there. Then we'll move over here. 2025, and then we've got May, and we're currently right here, okay? So what we need to look at is the fact that this line is moving down, all right? So we've got right here is a lower high from back on the February of 25. And then we have a lower high right now compared to this recent May high. Well, we need for the bulls to get bullish, we need to break out of that. And even if we pull back, for the bulls to be really bullish, we need to break out, and that could lead us to some new highs. But the fact is the bulls need to do it. So right now, I'm afraid the market Friday left us a bit, a little bit in a quandary here on what is going on. I look for clues in a chart, and man, I don't have a lot of clues going into next week. So what we're going to need to see, or watch anyway, is the price action. Is the price action going to be bullish and bullish enough to break us out to the upside, or is it going to be bearish and push us back down into this area, which we have a gap over here that could get filled? So I'm watching that right there. And if we do start to break the T line, and that's the reason I'm not 100% bearish, is price is still over the T line or the 8 exponential moving average. And the trend indicator remains up. You can see the green dots. We're still up here. So we really are at this spot where we need a little bit of guidance from the market. So now we'll see what happens here, okay? We'll see what happens. But outside of that, let's take a look at one more thing, and then let's take a look at those 7 charts, okay? This is our T2123. And this is TC2000 that I use for charting, and TC2000 has an indicator, T2123, and it's the accumulative 4-week new high, new low ratio. And I have mine set for hourly. And you can see we have this hourly trend here. I'm going to put it up here as well, T2123. And so we're still bullish here, and even on the daily we're bullish. I'm just mentioning that. I don't look at that. That's not what I look at during the day. What I look at and watch is this hourly. And then over here I've got VXX, and VXX it tried to move up Friday. It really did, but it ended up coming back down. You can see the dots, they're all red here. Then the dots turn green. That means the bulls are stepping in. And now we're underneath those dots and they're turning red. That means the bulls are stepping out. So as long as we stay bullish over here, for the most part, I'm going to stay bullish in the market. Now, if we start to pop to the downside, then this is going to give way. And if this gives way, we can pull back and not give way here. This is our indicator that says be patient. Even if we pull back in the market, be patient. Don't get carried away with the shorts. But if we start to pull back and we give way here, we may have a problem on our hands. But until then, I'll follow what's going on, and I'll remain bullish, okay? All right, let's take a look at some charts here. Before I do, please bear with me. I want to remind everybody that this coming Monday, I guess that would be the 2nd, June 2nd, one of our divisions, the day trading division, BYOB, is having an open house. It's absolutely free, although registration is required. So you can check our social media for any registration, for the registration links, and please do. And then one more thing I want to remind you of is we have a 3/8 trap class being taught by Doug Campbell. Doug Campbell runs another one of our divisions, Right Way Options, and there's a 3/8 trap workshop on Wednesday, June 4th. Again, check our social media for links on that if you'd like to register, okay? All right, let's get going here. So the first one I want to look at is PLTR. I did buy into this Friday. I bought both in the money and out of the money calls, two different accounts. And PLTR just ripped to the upside, really nice, and great volume to boot. We're coming up to that 50% retracement, and I took a, now what it's called is the, oops, let me do this here. The Fibonacci projection. I don't use 100% Fibonacci lines, but the idea is the same. So I took this low and went to this high and then pulled back to that low, and that gives us some extensions to the upside. And we're just getting really close to that 50%. I suspect, unless the market just trashes over the weekend, I would suspect that gets tagged up there at about 133, maybe 134 in that area, in the 133s. And then after that, you know, I'll be looking for that 136.80, 140.50, then 143.50 up here on that. So watching for any pullbacks, maybe to add to, it's one that I think you might like on your watch list, at least just to watch it. DDOG is another nice one. DDOG is set up here, and DDOG, we're been in a downtrend. You can clearly see the trend indicator. This is something that if you have TC2000, I can show you how to put that and make it red and make it green. If you don't have TC2000, honestly, it's just the 17 EMA. That's all it is. We just figured out a clever way to make the dots red and green depending on where price is. So you can see how it was bullish, bearish here, and now see the red dots. Make that green, and you can see those green dots. See how it turned green? Now we look at price action and chart patterns, and it looks to me like DDOG might be set up to attack that 50% retracement up there. Once we get through that, and a lot of times that area will act as resistance, a speed bump, something like that. And then when it does break through and we get the test back, that'll act as support. Just like support and resistance would act, or just like moving averages will act at times. See how the that dotted line, that's our dotted deuce. You can see how that acted as resistance for 3 bars, pushed us all the way back down, and we tried to rally up, and you can see it's still acting as resistance, but we do have this gap and this pop out of the box setting up, and I think that's a pretty nice chart pattern for a breakout there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Another one is Wolf. You might like this for your watch list. Wolf. We've got this 50% retracement right here, about $4.30. Please keep in mind that right here, that line right there, that's the 500 period moving average, and that's just about where we stopped a week or so ago. So we're going to need to break through that. Once we break through that, we'll have a J-hook continuation pattern. So there's the J, and then when we break out, that will be the continuation pattern right there. And there's that 50% retracement. Next target up is going to be in the area of 475, something like that. And then the next area will be up there around 530. So we'll keep our eyes on Wolf. I want to remind everybody, especially members, and if you're a trial member for 30 days, remember that make sure you get the app downloaded, because I'll send out alerts like we did on PLTR when we bought PLTR. We sent alert out within seconds of buying it. In fact, in the room, I talked about it while I was buying it. So you don't even have to be in the trading room to get the alert. So it makes sure that if you're a member or a trial member, you get that alert, the alert app downloaded. Okay, if you have any questions about it, please let me know. Toast is another one I like. Look how Toast popped up. And this, I find this very amazing. If we come here and take the top, and I like to go where there's multiple touches, not necessarily the absolute tip top. So there was multiple touches here. You can see that there on the weekly. We've got those 2 touches in there. So look how, where's my arrows at? There we go. Look how, let me make this bigger for you. Sorry. There we go. There we go. Look how we went right there to the 61.8. That's one of my lines that I have on my Fibonacci, or this is a Fibonacci projection setup, but I use quadrant lines mixed with fib lines. So here we are up. Look how it nailed it and pulled right back to the trend indicator here. So what I'm watching is for that buy signal on this, and the buy signal will be in the neighborhood of about right here, $42.97, $43. So we start popping up, then I'll look for that as the buy signal. Once we take out that 46 level, then you've got 50 over 52 up here. That's a ton, right? Wow, it's 19%. So I'm looking for Toast as to be one of my buys going forward. How about some FBL? Now, for those that don't know, FBL is a single stock ETF for Meta. So let's go to Meta real quick here. If you're liking Meta, but you find that you can't afford, or maybe $647 a little steep for you, which it's a little steep for me, then you might want to take a look at FBL. Okay, so do some research on it, make sure that that's tradable for you. And anyway, it's one that I use. So if we take a look at this, you can see how that our downtrend in place. You can see the uptrend has changed. So right in there is where we change from downtrend to uptrend. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look for reasons to buy. And here we're up, back, up, and we're back. And I'm just going to put a bottom in there. So we're right now at the buy area is what I'm thinking. Now, here's that 50% retracement that acts as resistance, and you can see I did that here. We broke out and pulled right back, so a little sloppy trading right there. And look how we just banged our head up against that. Well, now I'm watching for that breakout. When I get that breakout, FBL will be on my watch list. We will alert everybody that has the app. And then targets to the upside will be in the area of 39.40, and then up here around 43.50, and then up here around 47.35, and that's 18% up to this mark right in here. So FBL might be a nice trade to take a look at. Another one is Google. Google is one that I'm watching very closely. Now I'm not trading Google. I could trade that in a larger account, but I actually own GGLL in the larger account, and I'm looking to buy it in the smaller account. And GGLL is another one of those single stock ETFs, a little more affordable at $33.60. And right now I'm looking for this to move up to that 50% mark. Now it's probably not going to move up in just straight line. Might take 3 or 4 candles, maybe a week to get up there, but I'm looking at that. I'm looking to buy in this area and then run up to here. More than likely, it will scrap around for a few days, and then the next target up here will be in that 42.25 area, then 46. So GGLL is one that I'm looking at, or own it in the larger account. I'm looking to buy it in the small. And the last one I have, and I want to say thank you for sticking with me through this video. I appreciate it, okay? So looking at NEM here, you can see that we've got a little bit of an uptrend. The 50-period moving average is moving up. You can see that if we draw a trend line from the top down, we've broken out of that trend line, and I'm looking for this to move up back and test this high of April 2021 and the 50% retracement. I'm going to go to a weekly chart. After we get through this area here, I'm going to look for close to 65 up here, 64, okay? Anyway, again, this was Rick with Hit and Run Candlesticks. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Please leave your comments and don't forget to subscribe, okay? You take care now. Thank you.